Editing Vina here, and welcome back to my channel. And I decided that I was going to film like a contemporary Black reading vlog because I was reading a lot of contemporary Black books at the time, and then of course I fell out of the contemporary mood partially through filming it, and then it took me forever to read some of the books, so it was kind of spread out over the course of a month. So hopefully you're entertained by my thoughts about these different books. I did manage to find like a new fave, which I do gush about a little bit in here. So yeah, it is kind of what it is. Hope you enjoy watching though. Thanks for the support as always. Hi everyone, my name is Vina, aka Miss WOC Reader, and I'm just here with a quick book unboxing. So I received this box in the mail, and as you can see, it's for Buy the Book. So let's check it out and see what's inside. So I have not opened it yet. Probably should have taken the tape off in advance. And you know, I'm always trying to promote Black love on my platform, so it's pretty cool to see that somebody else saw that and wanted to send me something. Okay, so this is what it's looking like, and it says, "This fairy tale rom-com mashup is total magic, swoon-worthy from start to finish." That was a blurb from Julie Murphy. And "My cheeks hurt from smiling through this delightful book for adults who haven't outgrown fairy tales. And speaking of magic, how does Jasmine Guillory keep getting better and better?" And that is from Jodi Picoult. Buy the Book, a modern-day reimagining of Beauty and the Beast. Isabel, a young editorial assistant and one of the few Black employees at her publishing house, is tasked with securing the long-awaited manuscript of a beastly high-profile author. Book lovers are sure to fall for this romantic triumph on love and acceptance from Jasmine Guillory, one of the brightest voices in romance today. Okay, so there's like little rose petals shaped like hearts, and it has note cards. It says, "From the Library of Jasmine Guillory." That's actually pretty cute. I like that. So it has author, title, due date, borrower's name. You know, in case anybody's interested in starting their own library, this little cute idea. So if you haven't watched my recent video, it was titled "Where the Family At?", where I discuss Black family in YA. First of all, what are you waiting for? But in that video, I discussed wanting more representation of different types of Black family within YA because it feels so absent on page. And I also talked about wanting to also see religion and how that plays a role in the family as well, because for so many of us, religion does help shape our family and shape some of our day-to-day experiences. So then I finally started Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl. This one was sent to me by Joya Goffney because I really enjoyed her first book. This is her sophomore novel, and this is like everything that I was asking for in that video, and I am eating it up. It's so good. Highly recommend it, and I'm not even done with it yet. I am on chapter 14 right now, but it's fresh, it's funny, there are likable characters, it has the mom and dad present, and even though she doesn't have the best relationship with her mom, it's great to see that dynamic play out. as well as her relationship with her father because she's a little bit of a daddy's girl. And then her favorite auntie is also around. And I told you guys, like, I want to see the aunties too because a lot of us have like that favorite auntie. And I really enjoying like the dynamic between her and this church girl Sasha, who she was like hating on and felt like he was making her look bad to her preacher parents, and she's realizing that's not the girl she thought she knew. And Sasha's actually pretty cool. And then she also has the help of Reggie, who is this bad boy. She like it's really interesting because like the main character finds out that she has this disorder that had like where she has trouble having sex. Hold on, I wanna check because it's in the author's note. I don't wanna tell you the wrong term. It's vagin vaginismus. That's what it is. And that was my first time actually hearing about it. And this book does a great job of explaining it without being too heavy handed. And it's funny watching her journey to solve this problem. So, definitely enjoying Confessions of an Alleged Girl. I could have probably read the majority of it yesterday, but I just was also working on my writing because I started writing again a couple months ago. I mean, I write for the blog all the time, but it's not the same thing. I actually wanted to write stories again. So like I feel like I had the premise down a couple months ago and I put the premise, started it, um was like figuring out where I wanted this idea to go. So now the words are finally flowing and I was working on a scene this weekend. And yeah, it's actually been a good reading time for me too. I and I'm gonna check out now, but I will check in with you guys later. So it's the next day, and after I finished work yesterday, I read some more of Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl, and this is definitely already going to be one of my top books of 2022. I loved this book. It was so good. Um, I really appreciated the family representation. Anybody who's been following my channel knows I'm big on seeing Black families, and it just doesn't have to be the perfect family. It can be messy, like this family was. They didn't have the best communication at first, and they were kind of learning to talk out their feelings and understand each other. And our main character Monique realized that even though she thought her mom was super strict, her mom ended up being like one of her biggest advocates, and her parents ended up being more supportive of her as the book progressed, and it had a positive, healthy Black love relationship. Anybody else who's been watching this channel for a while knows that Black love is something that I really advocate for in books. We don't see enough positive Black love, and it's something that I definitely want to see more of in YA. So, 5-star book. Definitely recommend checking out Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl, and I'll link this one in the description box down below. So, next I already started it, but I was only on like chapter 1 or going into chapter 2. I had the audiobook, like an early copy of the audiobook, but I didn't like I was listening to it, and the female narrator, she does a lot of Black YA, and she's a good narrator, but the story was reading too similarly to some other contemporary ones that I listened to with her, so I didn't want it to color my opinion of this book. This one is Love Radio by Emini Liddell, and this is another Black love book that I talked about. I was supposed to read it last month. That ended up not happening. I am planning on reading it this week. Like I said, I'm just going to stick to reading the physical copy. I am in the office tomorrow, so I'm not going to have a lot of time to read during the day, but I'm going to do some more reading at night, and I'm going to get a couple of chapters read of this tonight. I have high hopes for it, and I'm still like on that contemporary high after reading Confessions of a Like Good Girl. So I just wanted to check in and give you guys my progress on reading. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy lately. I feel like I barely have time to sit down and film. And sometimes when I sit down and film, I'm like, it's just a mess and I don't want to post it. Like, I tried vlogging last month and it just wasn't turning out right. So hopefully this time is better. Hey everyone. So it's actually 2 days since I last vlogged, and I'm still reading Love Radio. Um, I don't I'm only on chapter 4. I haven't been reading a lot of it, even though it's like super short, because it just hasn't been engaging me. It feels very try hard and like the complete opposite of my last read. Like, it's going like the teens so far in this are sounding really old. Like, they're our main character, she's like in love with classic black literature, and she's like wants to be this author, and some of the conversations that are coming up are like ones that are frequently had on Twitter, but like by older people, and it feels like it's constantly trying to show you that these characters are aware and have them be politically correct, and I'm like, they're teens, they're supposed to be messy. And at one point, so it doesn't really say on the back of the book, but it's kind of obvious, like, she got sexually assaulted at a college party, and great for them trying to tackle this topic, but it's playing on a lot of stereotypes. Like, there's just a lot of stereotypes I've been reading in this book. Like, so when the two main characters meet, it's like at the library, and they have this really weird interaction where she accidentally thinks he's a dad, and he like shames her over it. And there's a lot of like talk about the importance of black children representation in picture books, and it feels like really heavy-handed. And so when she starts to remember going to this college party, she talks about how she was hoping that she would have deep, stimulating conversation about these famous black poets, and how they would drink hard seltzer water, and hopefully she would meet somebody who was taking critical race theory so that they could have stimulating conversation. I'm just like, huh? Like, it didn't ring true to me at all. I'm like, are people really thinking like still that college parties are full of guys who are like trying to have intellectually stimulating deep conversation? Because we, like, from what I remember from the books when I was a teen, like, they were making fun of naive girls a little bit who thought that way. And like, not like there was like it was kind of making a point in a lot of the books I read that no, those older college guys are just rapey. They're not anywhere interested in you for your brain. And I feel like there's enough media and TV out there that kind of shows you even more so like why older guys have no business messing with um, younger girls. And for her to be so well read, it was weird. I'm like, the sexual assault is not her fault. at all whatsoever, but you don't have to write her as so overly naive. Hey everybody. So it's been a kind of slow Saturday. I am currently getting ready for a party. That's why I'm all done up. And I did a little bit of reading last night. I tried reading more of Love Radio, but it was painful. Like, so much of it just felt so unnatural to me. Like, those teens were reading like they were 60 years old. And it was like, not just the love of classic black lit and all the mentions of classic 90s rom-coms, but just like the way they talked, some of the situations that they were dealing with would be fine, but the way like some of the discussions they were having felt a little off and felt very forced. And like I was even talking about it with like some other people as I was reading, and they kind of agreed. And I'm like, I'm not having a really good experience with this. I don't want to push through a book that I know I'm going to hate the whole way through and then just end up rating it low. So yeah, I set that one aside and I'm going out tonight, but tomorrow I'm going to pick up Finding Jupiter. Hey guys. So I'm so bad at updating this because my reading taste has just been all over the place. And then last week I was just like really not in the mood to read a lot. So I did do some slight reading, but it was like different reading from my usual norm. And I'm ready to get back into the contemporaries. I started Finding Jupiter. I'm only a couple chapters in, but so far it's really cute. I have high hopes for it. As like I said, I've been anticipating that one for a couple of years. Now, hard to believe it's been a couple of years, but it has been. Time's been flying so fast in this pandemic. And I've actually been doing a lot less reading, a lot more going out. It's been a crazy hectic month, and I just haven't had much time to sit down and film, but hoping to be able to balance everything a little bit more soon. Hey, I'm just checking back in. I haven't really done much reading this week to keep up with this vlog, and I'm finally getting back into reading. It's just been very hectic. I just didn't have a lot of time. Life was a little crazy. But I did get to do some reading of Finding Jupiter. At first, I wasn't sure where it was going to go. And it immediately, like within the first couple chapters, it had one of my pet peeves. So, like, I hate when there's I don't really like a lot of pop culture references in books to begin with. I find that they date them, and I find that sometimes they're overused. I don't mind it so much in YA, but in moderation. And I hate when the pop culture reference is dated. So it had a pop culture reference where it had these teens like talking about like the summer of 8th grade, and we were doing dance routines to Crank That, but by Soldier Boy. And I'm like, that was the summer like I graduated 8th grade. No way would teens be like acting like this song is like was like the hottest thing at that time. Like, I think I can tell the author and I are about the same age from reading that section. I'm just like, I feel like a lot of YA authors write the will take writing the book they wanted to read as a teen way too seriously and literally write the book that they wanted to read as a teen without taking into consideration the things that the teens of now like the teens don't care about Soldier Boy, which they shouldn't, because he's a problematic, terrible person. Google it. He's not worth even remembering. Let him stay with his one hit in the past. So I read it. I'm like, it just immediately took me right out of the passage that I was reading, because I'm like, that was years ago. You know how long I've been out of high school? Like, I've been out of high school for a little over a decade, and that song was very popular my summer of 8th grade going into my freshman year of high school. So that tells you how long ago that was. it feels like a lifetime ago. So much has changed since then. And yeah, I know like with TikTok, a lot of the like old songs are becoming popular again for a quick hot minute. But yeah, no. Let's keep the pop culture references, if you're going to use them, in the present. Unless it's like somebody classic, like a Michael Jackson song or like Mariah Carey or Whitney, because those types of timeless songs are like, they're ones that you hear over and over again, and you'll hear like the older people in your family playing them all the time. But yeah, other than that, I'm actually really enjoying Finding Jupiter. Um, Orion and Ray are not what I expected, but I'm having a great time. I'm feeling the chemistry between them, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So I'm going to stop this check in here and do a little bit more reading later. Okay, so I'm back, and I finally finished Finding Jupiter, and I had mixed feelings about it. I did think that the romance was very cute. Um, and I liked how fluffy it was. I liked how there was a great emphasis on communication in the story. There were a couple of things I didn't like. One of which was the constant pushing of the two main characters as like kind of old souls types. I feel like a lot of YA does that and it just doesn't track. It more feels like the author was writing for herself as a teen and her friends, like reminiscent about their teen years, versus writing for the teen audience of today. Like, and it kind of made the story feel a little weird every time she referenced a lot of really old music and like CDs. Hardcore pushing of CDs in this story, and it's like, it's isn't it expensive now to get your hands on a CD player? Like, everybody's not listening to CDs, but you had like our main female character pushing CDs. And it's really weird too, because there was this scene where they like the two main characters have sex to Sade, and I'm like, did the kids even know who Sade was? Because to be honest, she was a little bit before my time too. And Sade is pretty quiet and stays to herself from what I understand. She releases her albums and then minds her business. And I don't even know her music that well. I've heard of her obviously, but I don't think I heard of her until adulthood. My dad's music buff, but he didn't always play all the artists. So I didn't really know Sade until adulthood. So I'm like, are the teens gonna really recognize her? And I think we're supposed to think like, oh, it's so cool and so throwback, but that's a problem. So much was feeling like throwback to like old school love, like from the 90s and 80s. And it felt a little weird since these are books written in the 20 or like published in the 2020s. So while I thought the main characters were cute, it's insta love, which a lot of YA is, so that didn't bother me as much. Even though it was a little bit heavy handed with like the soulmate aspects. The beginning was a little bit weird, but I did like the mystery aspect of this story. It was just paced a little bit oddly, where we went so many pages with them just pushing the romance, pushing the romance, pushing the romance without like any inkling of the mystery, and then it came back up and was like in hyperspeed trying to build itself to do the reveal. I actually did like the reveal though, and overall it was like around a 3-star type of read for me. It was cute. I don't know if I'd necessarily revisit it again. I am glad that I got it as an arc, because I don't know if I would want to necessarily need to keep it on my shelves. But yeah, that's all the books that I have for this vlog. I feel like I've been working on it forever. Sorry, I'm really slow to read these contemporaries, but it was an interesting journey, and I did find some new faves. And if you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching, and I will check in with you guys soon. Bye!